So I don't think anybody will show up. My mic's on. All right, you ready to do this? Let's do it. All right. The House of Vex is in effect. All righty. We'll see if anybody actually shows up.
There's people, babe.
We have 2 people, both from Australia.
Oh my gosh.
No?
No.
Not quite?
There's a lot of people.
Oh, cool. Well, sweet. Welcome. This is the House of Vex. It's the inaugural show. Reaper wanted me to do something that involved the Vex airbrush. And although we're not going to always be airbrushing, because I do all kinds of, I paint with a regular brush too. But if you have questions about airbrushing, and it doesn't even have to be about the Vex, but just in airbrushing in general, feel free to ask. I've got the lovely Liz Hunt here.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm here.
She's here. Can everybody hear Liz? Okay, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we're sharing a mic.
I guess the important thing is, can people hear me? Can people hear any of us? That would be really bad if we did this entire show and it was no sound at all. So.
Sweet, they can hear.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Right on. So who else here? Anybody I know? A lot of people. I know that guy.
Child. Hi.
Hey Dan, what's up? Kicking it old school.
Is that
Dan and I grew up in the hood.
What?
And
What?
maybe that was a different Dan. Okay, never mind. Barrio Logan? 2001? No?
No.
Does it ring a bell? Okay.
Probably not.
All right.
But yeah, and there's a lot of people here. Ben.
Cool. Right on. So does anyone have questions about airbrushing or anything? Or my whole plan for this whole show was basically just to have a paint night. This year has been, if you haven't noticed, this year has been a little bit different from other years in that none of us have left the house like in a year. So there hasn't been a whole lot of paint nights. We do painting for a living, so it's not like we're like, hey, we get off work and then we're like, let's do a paint night, you know. But I do miss my friends, and apparently you are all out there. So I just want to paint stuff, you know. Like
we have airbrushing newbies.
Airbrushing newbies.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let me tell you, no question is a dumb question. So ask away. You know, if you got some questions about thinning paint or cleaning your airbrush or just why doesn't this thing work or, you know, what makes you look better as an airbrusher, we can discuss the ins and outs of, you know, sexy apparel while you're airbrushing. No? We can't do that. Oh, shoot. There was like a list, I don't know. There was kind of a list of things that I couldn't say on the show, so I'm trying. And Liz is the moderator, keeping me in line. So apparently I can't strip. So that's the thing. Anyways, so yeah.
So what are some good air compressors?
Good air compressors. You can go down to like a Harbor Freight or something, and you want to get a quiet air compressor, like, you know, very, very low sound. You can also find those on the internet. There's a lot of like beginner starter packages for around $100. You can get an airbrush and a compressor for under $100. And they're decent. They'll get you by for the time being. But if you want like the best air compressors, and if you have they're definitely more expensive. But if you have the money to do it, like, hey, Christmas is coming up, you know, get somebody to buy it for you. The Aspire Elite TC909 or TC910 are two of the best airbrushes or air compressors out there. I run both of those air compressors. They're made by Badger Airbrush. And they are so good.
Yes.
How good are they, Liz?
They are so good.
They're so good.
Seriously.
And I'm not lying about that. I remember the first time I ever used one was at Gen Con. Badger would always set me up. If you haven't been by the Flying Frog booth in the last 5 years, I'm sitting there painting and you know, people just come and look at me and poke me and stuff. But Badger was always nice enough to set me up with a compressor and airbrush at the show, so I didn't have to travel with it because that is hard. And so one year he set me up with the TC909, and I was like, "Holy cow, Ken! What is this air compressor?" You know? So he's like, "Hey, well, if you want it, take it home." And I haven't looked back. They blow harder, Liz. They do harder than any other airbrush or air compressor. So the TC909, TC910, if you want like top of the line, like something that will make your life better, make your airbrushing a little bit better, that's the air compressor to get. So that was a really long story about just buy a TC909. So
for the Vex, what do you know the needle sizes?
I have no clue. It's two of them. So
one's bigger than the other.
It's just like in computers. I'm not real tech savvy. I have a computer. It has a bunch of RAM in it. You know, that's what I got. So here is let me actually switch over to my palette cam and we'll take a look at the needle I have in my Vex right now, and I'll tell you why I'm using it and stuff. Oops, wrong camera. Hey, look, we're kicking it with some little bit of wine here.
It just looks like pink water.
It is pink water, but and I hate to say it, Liz, but I gotta pee. Like the show just started and I already gotta go.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, let's not think about it. So this is the Vex. This is the big cup one. Apparently, the small cup one is sold out now. Is that what you said?
That was what I saw.
Yeah, we saw something that was sold out. It might not be, but they're going pretty quick. This is the big cup one. This is the one I use. Liz has the smaller cup one. The only difference with the cup size is you can put more paint in it, so it doesn't really make a big difference after that. The smaller cup looks sleeker. It's cool, you know. But the big cup, like if you're doing armies and stuff or lots of, you know, painting your Bones 5 Kickstarter, you're going to want a bigger cup because you can fit more paint in there. But that being said, so this is the needle. This is not the needle that comes in this airbrush. The airbrush comes with the black needle. It's your high detail needle. And then this one is like more of, like you could call it a general purpose needle. I am not sure what this needle size is. I asked and I've never received an answer.
It's the holidays. Things are crazy.
Yeah, it's just sort of crazy out there. There will be answers at some point. But here's what I do know. This needle right here, this is your general purpose needle. This will spray. It will definitely spray like primers and stuff better through the Vex. Whereas the high detail needle is not going to spray your primer as good because it's a much finer needle. But this needle right here sprays primers, it sprays acrylics, and then it also sprays inks, which are very, very thin. It's kind of like spraying water. It sprays all three of those really, really well. So I only use this needle right here. I've used the black needle a little bit with my inks, and it does have a little bit more control on how fine your spray is. But I don't think it's enough to justify using it for me. I like this needle because it doesn't clog. It will clog eventually, but it doesn't clog very quickly. And that's a big thing for me. I just like airbrushing. I don't want to be clogged all the time. So I can do my high detail stuff with this. I can do my priming with this, no problem. So that's what I do. This needle right here, think of it as like a 0.3 needle or maybe a 0.4. I'm sure it's not because when you pull back just a little bit, it does spray a very detailed spray down. So, you know, it kind of is what it is. But yeah, if we ever find out exactly the size of these needles, we'll let you know. But the Vex has been manufactured special for the type of nozzle that it has. It's definitely different. And the nozzle is created to clog less. But also created so that you can put the same, like different needles in without changing the nozzle. So it's a really nice feature with the Vex for sure. Is that?
Yeah. So we have a question about needles. Do all needles work for all airbrushes?
No. I mean, you could try, but I really doubt that they do. So part of it is if you look at this needle here, let's pull this up closer, really close, super zoom.
Oh.
All right, See, that's the biggest finger you ever saw. So these needles are tapered a certain way. Like if you see, it's got a taper from the start all the way down, and then it tapers again finer. And that taper will match the inside of your nozzle. If you took someone else's needle, it's going to taper differently because it's made for a different type of nozzle. And then when you stick it in there, it might actually kind of work, but I don't think you'd have very good results. Most brands, like I used to have a Harder Steinbeck airbrush, which is a very good brand as well. And if you switch the needles in the nozzles, it would be a hot mess. So you definitely don't be mixing and matching your needles, because you probably won't have a very good day. Like it might airbrush, but it won't airbrush to the precision that it should, and that would be bad. So. Correct.
So if someone were to create an airbrush setup area place at home, what would you recommend them having? Like, what would that look like?
What would it look like? Okay, so I start with this. I've got my air compressor in the room here. We're just in our office, right? The air compressors they're noisy, but they're not super noisy, right? So like I used to airbrush with my son sleeping in the room next to me. It'd be like 2 a.m. I'm just cranking away on commissions and stuff. He never heard a thing. So they're fairly quiet. So you can do it in the house. The problem is, depending on how crazy you get with your airbrushing, I'm very controlled with my airbrushing. So if I'm spraying on this model right here, I might be like, pop, 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 little sprays, right? But if you're doing a big army, you're like, psh, 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 and like paint's flying all over the place. And there'll be this mist going around your house. And it looks like Nurgle, like some sort of Nurgle's rot just sort of cascading through your house. And that's probably not a good thing. It'll get on your walls and everything. It's basically dried paint just floating through the air. Also, you're breathing that stuff. If you have like lung problems and stuff, you probably you don't want that stuff just flying all around. So one of the things that I do, first thing I do is I use puddle pads, which is really disgusting at first. And then once you start using them, you're like, this is fantastic.
If they're not disgusting, a dog hasn't like peed on it.
No, but I feel like maybe a dog, I feel like maybe a dog thought about peeing.
Oh my gosh.
Did you see where Marley was earlier today? She was hanging out in this room, and she probably thought if I could just get up to that table, I'm going to pee on that puddle pad.
Sure.
So anyways, puddle pads are great because one, you can kind of because they're white, you can spray down your color and see what the color is until, of course, you've completely covered it with paint, and then you don't have that anymore. But the other thing is, if you spill a little paint out of your cup, if you knock over your paint bottle, or you've got a bunch of paint mixed up in a cup here and you're doing your thing and you just boom knock it over, it's not running all over into the carpet and stuff. It literally catches it right there. I get super lazy, and this is probably not the best practice. I get super lazy, and a lot of times I'll just I'll be cleaning my airbrush, and then I just spray right into the puddle pad, and that soaks it all up. It does get kind of sticky though, so you don't want your whole puddle pad wet while you're working on it. That's not fun at all. But the puddle pad catches a lot of stuff. It catches some of the overspray. It catches a lot of things, and it keeps you it keeps your wife from killing you or husband from killing you because you spilled paint on the floor. I actually use puddle pads for regular painting too because I've just found that they work really good. So puddle pads, the first line of defense. I also would recommend you want to get some sort of respirator. Mine's out in the garage, but you can get a 3M respirator. Put that on your face, over your nose, and breathe through that while you're airbrushing. It's a little bit uncomfortable, especially on hot summer days when you're sweating into this respirator, but it will also keep you safe as far as fumes and paint particles floating around in the air. The other thing that you can do is on Amazon, they do have airbrush units, where spray booths, where for about $100, it will suck all of that into there, and there's what are those things called? A vent? No.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
My brain is not working.
What do we put for the air conditioning?
Filter.
There's a filter. Yes. Okay.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come on, chat. You got to help us out here.
Filter. filter.
Yeah.
It's a filter.
You got to help us out here. Come on. Okay, so there's a filter, and that will help. The problem is it will just filter and then blow the air out into your room. So technically, you want to have like it fitted up to a hole in the wall and spray outside. Or if you have like a window, you could have it put up to the window and it's kind of just venting out into the outdoors. But most of what you're spraying will get caught in that filter. So that's probably the best you can do. Other than that, you really don't need anything else. Some people get those little lazy Susans, so they can put if there's a bigger model, like a big dragon, you can spin it around while you're airbrushing. I don't typically use those, but I know a lot of people that do. So you can use that. But other than that, you don't need a whole lot of extra stuff. To wash out my airbrush, I use a cup with some paper towels in it. And I just spray into that. And kind of the reasoning for that is when you're spraying your colors out, to change colors. Oops. I guess I need to tighten my needle there. When you're spraying your thinner through, I watch the spray. So if it seems like it's like kind of undulating like that, it's not like a constant spray. That probably means that I have a clog going on and I need to clean my airbrush. So it's a way that I can look at things. See, there's my compressor right now. So hopefully that's not too awfully loud, but it goes on every once in a while. So yeah, I use a cup to just spray clean my paint out, and that's about it. Nothing too crazy for my setup.
Oh yeah. So, do you ever use needle juice when, right before you start airbrushing?
Sometimes. So needle juice, I don't think we have any sitting here.
There's some right there.
Where?
Isn't that needle juice?
No, this is spray through.
Oh.
So anyways, needle juice is another, there's several brands have different kinds of things. Basically, it's made for keeping the tip of your airbrush from getting paint on it. So let's zoom way in here, and we'll take a look at, this is the tip of my airbrush. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the tip of my airbrush. And what will happen is while you're airbrushing, paint starts sticking to it. It just starts drying on the tip of your airbrush, and that's called dry tipping. And you need to get that off. I've just found over the years, I just clean it off constantly. So I'll take the tip of my airbrush off. That's the one really cool thing about this Vex is the tip actually reverses. So I believe the Vex comes this way with the guard on. So basically it's like that, and you can't hit the needle really, but you can also flip it around, and then you've got no guard at all. And so for me, I like it this way because I can go in with my fingernail and kind of scrape off that dry tip. You got to be careful. What are you laughing at?
Everybody's in the chat going, needle juice, needle juice, needle juice.
Needle juice. So I just constantly clean it. It seems like I've just learned to love it. I used to hate it, but the problem is it will immediately start affecting your spray, and as that tip builds up, you'll have bubbles in your cup. Paint will start. Yeah, the bubbles in your cup song.
We gotta get on that.
Yeah, we do. We need to make that song. But you'll have bubbles in your cup. Your nozzle will start clogging from the inside, and it's just like it facilitates your airbrush clogging faster. So what I do is probably every 3 to 5 minutes I just check my needle. I've gotten really good at checking it. Now in a situation like this, I will completely forget to check it. In my airbrushing classes, totally forget to check it all the time. I have to remind myself. But on my normal day-to-day, I'll be spraying, and even if I'm putting this zenithal prime on this model, I would literally put the white on this figure, and before I switch to this other figure, I'll check my dry tip on my needle, and I'll clean it off, whether I think I need to clean it off or not, and then it always stays clean. I've used the needle juice before. it kind of works, but it doesn't seem like it works long enough for me. And so it's like it's easier for me to just constantly check and scrape it off than doing anything else. What I do find is you can clean it without taking the cover off, but you will get a much better clean if you take the cover off and just use the pads of your fingers and just kind of spin your needle in them and get all that paint off. So my needle juice is my fingers. If that makes sense. This is just, I feel bad. This is just literally gross. I'm gonna have a little bit more. I'm gonna have a little bit more wine. Yeah, this is gonna go downhill real quick.
Holy cow!
So that whole thing, like having a paint night with my friends, probably is gonna backfire. But whatever, it's all cool.
Oh jeez, yeah.
So we've got the needle size, which we don't know. So basically, we've had a bunch of questions that I haven't been able to answer, and we cleaned our tip. There we go.
That's the most important part.
Yeah.
It actually is.
Well, the funny thing is, you got to keep the tip clean. I mean, everyone knows that, but it's more important in airbrushing than any other factor in life. You know, I mean, it should be on the box, but it's not.
We do have a question. Is the Vex better or on par with the Sotar?
I don't use my Sotar and I don't use my Patriot anymore.
Because you don't need it.
Because I don't need it. And if you know me, which you may or may not, I don't know, I don't use stuff that doesn't work. So like when Ken contacted me and was like, hey, do you want to help develop this airbrush? I told him, I said, listen, I love the Patriot 105. I love my Sotar 2020. If you can't make something better than those two airbrushes, then why bother? Because I don't need a third one. You know, like two is plenty, right? And he, like, for me, he hit it out of the ballpark. You know, I haven't needed my Sotar. I haven't needed my Patriot 105. If like my Vex is, you know, I have this problem. I leave paint in my cup. I just do. In fact, you want to see my other airbrush? This is one of the prototypes. And this is still currently active. It's working. That's a lot of primer dried up inside that cup.
Oh my God. You didn't clean it out before the stream?
No. Well, this is the prototype. We're not supposed to show it live on camera. Anyways, I have several of these. I should probably take it off. So anyways, you know, I don't know. I'm bad at cleaning things. But yes. the Vex is rocking. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, will it clog? Yes, of course it will clog. Like, you know, I say it clogs slower than normal, but if you're not good to it, you know, if you don't keep it clean, it's gonna clog pretty quickly. You know, it might clog a little slower than other airbrushes, but when it clogs, it's gonna be a hot mess because there's a lot of room inside that nozzle. If you haven't already noticed, it can hold a lot of paint in there dried up before it actually messes up your airbrush. So if you keep it clean, though, constantly, you'll be good to go. Like, let's actually, this is a pretty dirty airbrush. Yeah, it's dirty.
That's because
I own it.
You own it, exactly. And because I haven't paid attention to your airbrush enough to
you've been busy sending off prizes and stuff for the contest and all that stuff. So if you didn't know, we just recently wrapped up the Miniature Monthly Masters painting competition. That was a lot of fun. A lot of really cool stuff in there. Okay, so I'm going to clean out the inside of my nozzle here. And basically what happens is that, if you see this, you can just barely see right through that hole right there. But you can't really see what's going on inside of the nozzle. So what I usually do, you can do a couple things. You can spin a piece of paper like this. And I need some airbrush cleaner. Here's the other great thing about using a puddle pad. You can just pour it right onto the puddle pad and you don't have to worry about anything. So I'll get this, turn it like that, and this is the safe way. Put that in and spin it. This is both Andy's favorite parts. You can see a little bit of paint on there, but this way is going to take forever. And so I'm very impatient, and so I just use my needle. Whoops. Use my needle like this. And I scrape, and by scrape I mean I lovingly coax out whatever paint's on the inside edges of this nozzle. You can actually see it coming out there. I wonder if we can get super hyper zoom. Whoa, that's too much. That was like ultimate, too much hyper zoom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at those fingernails. Man.
Yeah, I know. Good gosh.
They're as dirty as my cup.
Yes, socks. Cleaning, especially like when you're trying to clean the nozzle of your airbrush, is incredibly satisfying.
So see that? It's just like popping out a little blackhead. Now I'm not scraping the inside of this because your nozzle is made of brass, and so it'll actually scratch, and you could actually ruin your nozzle by boring out metal. But what I can do is I just run the tip of that needle along the inside edge, and you'll start to feel where there's paint or not. I can actually feel the difference between metal on metal and metal on paint. And so if I feel that, I can just get that little, see that little fleck?
Gotta be super gentle.
Super cool. It's just so gentle. You gotta be real loving.
You do have to be incredibly gentle, though. Seriously.
Yeah,
like,
you do. You have to be gentle. You'll scrape the inside of your airbrush.
Actually, Ken would probably.
He would probably throw up if he saw me doing this. But that's why we didn't invite him to this show. No, I'm just kidding. Actually,
Ken,
yeah, we do love you, Ken. You made a fantastic airbrush. And the coolest thing is they gave it to Reaper. So this being Reaper's first airbrush, I think is one of the best airbrushes out there for all-around airbrushing. Now, could there be another high detail airbrush that might be better, or one that's like general purpose that might be better? Maybe, but it doesn't do both. And this one does both. It does both really well. And like I said, it clogs really slowly. Like you can see, I'm still getting paint out of there. It clogs very slowly, and so that makes me super lazy, and I don't clean it as much as I should. But that's the way life is. So airbrush has made me lazy, and this airbrush has made me lazier. So got that all cleaned out. Gonna pop it back in to my airbrush here. Pull this back. Now, one thing's for certain. Sometimes this nozzle gets stuck inside this piece. And we had a bunch of people that happened to. It happens to me every once in a while. Sometimes paint gets in there, or maybe it just gets stuck for whatever reason. Don't take like a screwdriver to it and try to bore it out. That's not a good thing. My buddy Lane actually dropped his and it knocked it out. Hopefully it didn't mess up the tip.
Don't throw it on the ground, though.
Don't throw it on the ground. Don't do any of that stuff. If it's stuck in there, maybe just leave it. You can still clean up the inside. It will eventually pop out, but it is supposed to come out. The other things that are supposed to happen on a Vex, and sometimes they're on there pretty tight. Like this piece is always on there very, very tight. And so a couple really good ways to get this off. One, get a pair of pliers. That's what I did, and I just popped it. But that will scratch your finish a little bit. So you could use like a paper towel or a cloth, put it around there, use the pliers, and pop it off. The other thing is, and I've already lost it, you know the little black cap that goes on the end of these things? I've got it on my desk here somewhere. This is where I pushed the wrong button and in the stream. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. There's a little black cap that goes over the tip of this. It's like a safety cap. You can actually use that, push down on it, and open this up that way because it's soft rubber and it will actually grip on. Or you could use the pliers and grip onto that, and then you don't have a problem. Oh, you got it?
Yeah. You just had to open your eyes a little bit more.
See, that's why I bring Liz everywhere I go. So this is how it comes. It's got one of these things on there. It may be a little bit different shape, but it's one of those things. So you can grab it like this and spin, and that will take off this front cap. So that will help out quite a bit. If you want to put it on there really tight, you can do it again. But these things are designed not to be put on super, super tight. Like they're just on there like finger tight, right? So we've got that. The other parts that come off is the front cover piece, and your airbrush will still function with this off, which is, if you really want to be crazy and just leave the needle totally exposed, you could do that.
Where's your nozzle,
The nozzle my nozzle's on the floor, man. We don't need. I'm going nozzleless.
We don't need no stinking.
And we don't need no stinking nozzles. And then the other piece that comes off, and this piece will be on there very tight as well. Like you can already see where my pliers dinged it up. This piece comes off too. And this piece, it will probably be on there fairly tight when you get your airbrush. You want to be able to take that off because you see this is where your air holes are. And if they ever get clogged, like if you get a bad clog and paint gets back in there, you need to be able to take this off to clean that out. And really one of the best ways of cleaning this out is just putting your needle inside those holes again and just kind of working out whatever's in there.
Do you ever use airbrush brushes to clean the inside of the airbrush? Like the ones that you get from the airbrush kits online.
Yeah, so there's one that's like, it's actually like a Dremel tool brush. It's Teflon. So you want to be really careful when you're cleaning your airbrush. We talked about being careful on the inside of that nozzle, not to scrape it, but still use your needle. But those the Teflon brushes will actually scratch the inside of your airbrush too. So you have to be really careful with those. I don't mind too much in the cup. I try to keep it away from my nozzle and from my, anything like that, because the Teflon's actually durable enough to start scratching the brass. So, yeah, you just got to be careful. I do use pipe cleaners from time to time, like maybe once a month. I will run a pipe cleaner back through my airbrush back in here just to get out whatever gunk's inside of there. And I run it in once or twice. That's it, just to kind of keep it clean. Otherwise, I don't use them because those pipe cleaners are really damaging to the inside of your airbrush. So if you want to keep your airbrush running really, really good, use things that are really like basically soft. Could have sworn, did I bring out? I didn't bring any of the good stuff to this. What kind of party is this? You can use Q-tips. It just takes a long time to clean with that type of stuff. So we actually have some glue applicators, these little pink things that you can run in there, and that works really well too. So you can kind of be creative. Like I said before, you can wad up, get some paper towels, wad them up, or not wad them up, but roll them up. And run that inside because this is very non-abrasive to your airbrush. And I usually, anything like this, I always do a twisting motion to try to just get out whatever's in there. Like you see, man, this airbrush is dirty. Babe, you've been falling down on the job.
Hey. Watch it.
This could literally be like one day's worth of dirt for me, so.
Yes.
You know what? Liz doesn't have to do it.
No. I just choose to do it because I like cleaning things because my brain is just
that way.
Weird.
So what you need if you're an airbrusher and you're dirty like me, you need
find
a
somebody
partner,
like me,
yes, who is a clean freak, and then you guys work well together. Works out.
Balance each other out.
Balance and act right there. Sweet. All right, so when you're putting your needle back in, just always make sure that this trigger is pushing the air thing, because if it's stuck in the up position and you push that needle in, it could bend the needle. So don't want to do that. Of course, now this is where I fumble with this for the next hour and a half. There we go. Boop boop. Got it. Cool.
Now it's time to airbrush.
You want to airbrush? I don't think anybody wants to see any airbrushing.
That's a laugh. That's why everybody's here.
Oh, okay. All right. So, it's paint night. I get to paint whatever I want. I asked Reaper, and they said, you know what, Aaron? Paint whatever you want. So, what should we paint? This train piece? That sounds great.
Oh, sure. I was going to say the Little Mermaid ladies.
So, Liz and I just moved. We moved into a house, actually. And, we were in a house, but this is a bigger house. And it's got a huge garage, which is, by the way, freezing cold. So we need a space heater or something. But we want to put a gaming table out there. So I figured what better time to start painting some terrain up for our gaming table.
That
And
we
by the
don't
way,
have yet.
I priced it out, and it's going to be probably under $10,000 for the game table. It's gonna be freaking cool.
Holy cow.
So
if anybody needs stuff painted, we need
work.
commissions.
We need some commission work.
Holy cow.
Rick. Just kidding. It's not going to cost that much, I hope.
I hope not.
So I'm going to be painting up. This is from the Graveyard set. This is super cool. I actually just did a video on Miniature Monthly, our Patreon, of painting the rock wall, basically, without an airbrush. But this time I want to go fast, so this will be with airbrush. So I'm just going to use some of this dark elf shadow, because we might as well paint it to look like skin, right?
Yeah.
Something
Wait, you're painting the whole thing to look like skin?
No.
Oh, I was like,
This is just
what?
like it's a dark gray. So we're gonna need a bunch of this because there's a lot of pieces here. So let's just put some in. Try to mix up a little bit more than I think I need. It's kind of hard to tell on a bigger project like this because I really don't know. So whatever. Got my thinner. Branded miniature monthly thinner.com, .org, .gov.
.edu.
Yeah, .edu. That's the important one. All right. So I need a
Big old clunky one?
clunky brush. I got one.
Okay.
So mix this up. So I'm really interested to see, Reaper paints airbrush really well. I'm really interested to see if and when they actually come out with an airbrushing line of paints, because that would be super cool. I know Ron said no, and then Ed said yes in the same show. So you never know. It's all of the above, I guess.
So speaking of Ron,
Right?
apparently he told people to ask about the dragon that you were supposed to be painting.
What dragon? I don't know what you're talking about.
Ha ha ha.
Dragon's coming up, Ron. We had to get our feet wet here and start things off. And
With other things.
also, Ron, if you're watching, I didn't finish the commission. Shh. Not yet. I have not quite finished the commission yet that you gave me. So
Hey, it's almost done. We just
I
had a
can
really
tell the
busy
same
day.
thing to Dallas, and it's been kind of crazy. Didn't realize Christmas was so close, and
Yep. Things have been hectic.
things have been happening. But we are on it. We're almost done. So that being said, let's paint this thing here. And then maybe next week, if people are nice and excited about the show, we will start painting this really cool dragon that Ron gave me like a year ago.
Next
Right after
week-
our car crash.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
right after the car crash.
So this is, you're honestly not going to see very much here because it's dark. But
You're tinting.
see, that's the color I'm spraying right now. So that's that dark elf flesh shadow. But I need a darker color down first before we get started, basically. So
Hey, Bryce said he'll send some minis for us to paint.
yeah, sweet. We can probably do that instead of the dragon. What do you say?
No, we gotta do that dragon.
So what I'm trying to do too is I'm trying not to put too much paint down because it will stay wet for a while, and I don't want it to stay wet for a long time. I can always blow dry it with my airbrush, but this kind of helps things like dry tip happen a lot quicker and faster. So what I'm trying to do is spray a controlled amount of paint down so it just barely covers, just enough to cover, but then dries very quickly.
We had Tasmania that wants to know if you always go from dark to light when you paint.
Typically, yes. Yeah.
But then he goes back in with dark to make shadows, and then he'll lighten it back up,
For-
and then he'll darken it again. And I'm
Yes.
like, it's a back and forth.
It's a back and forth process. So when I'm starting with airbrush, so the reason for starting with black, And this kind of was one of those things that started way back when, like army painting and stuff. We always started with black figures because anything that didn't get painted would be in shadow. So if there's like cracks and crevices that don't get paint in them, they automatically look shadowed. So that's why you start with black. But with airbrushing, I use the black to be my first shadow, basically. And so I can always build up color on top of that. And with the airbrush, the color builds up fairly quickly, so I don't have to worry about, you know, it taking forever to actually build up color. But for this first initial stage, it's super boring because you don't see much happening.
So, I don't know why this question is confusing my brain.
Why is Aaron so hot?
Oh, geez. Oh my gosh. No. Does your compressor hook up to a tank or is it attached directly to your airbrush?
Okay, so my compressor is hooked up to a tank. You know what? I'm not prepared for this, but we're gonna do it anyways.
Are you gonna like move the camera?
Oh shoot! I don't know if that's gonna work. Can you see?
Hey, there's some paper towels.
There's some paper towels. Hopefully, there's not like a crack pipe down there.
You don't.
So that's my compressor. It's pretty big. This is the TC910. It does have a whatchamacallit. It's got a hello. Well, hello. It does have a tank on it. The tank doesn't last very long. Like when I start spraying, it almost turns on like after a couple seconds of spraying. So it's not like it saves that much time. The normal air compressors, they turn on when you start spraying. So it'll always run when you're spraying. If you have a leak in your line, it will run continuously. So I've tightened down all my connections, like on my airbrush, tightened down, like this connection is really tight to the airbrush. This connection is really tight to the hose, and so on and so forth. So I don't have any air leaks at all. And that way my air compressor doesn't run constantly. But it's going to run, I mean, that tank is not that big. And we're spraying, I run my airbrush at 40 PSI. So I'm spraying a lot of air at a time. And so it just runs out of air very quickly. A way to get around this would be to get a really big compressor with like an 8-gallon tank or something, which those are huge and they're really loud. So you definitely want that out in your garage. But we were at a buddy of ours, Clay Williams, Mastermind Minis over in Alabama, and he had one of those big air compressors, and it was loud, but it only turned on twice a day, and that was with like 15 people airbrushing. So if you have something like that, like I'm really tempted to do that eventually because
we've got one in our Amazon wish list.
We've got it on our wish list. So Bryce, you know, if you want to hook a brother up, no, I'm just kidding. We're not asking anybody for anything.
No.
No. But that being said, there's not. I have the tank on this because it's my indoor one, but it's really hard to travel with that. So like when I go to a game store and I airbrush there, I'll use my TC909, which doesn't have a tank. It's smaller, it's lighter. So.
And we do use Teflon tape on the connections between the airbrush and the hose to the compressor, correct?
We use Teflon tape on the connection between the hose and the compressor, but the one to the airbrush, you don't need it. You shouldn't need it. If it's leaking, you need to tighten it down more. It's a different kind of threads. So the thread going into the compressor is a thicker thread, I guess, and it lets air leak out. The other thing you can do, if you do have leaking problems, you could put a little chapstick on the threads. Same up here. As we start changing colors, you might notice that bubbling comes out of this back part right here, and that's totally normal. Your airbrush isn't messed up or anything. It's just since it's not super tight, your tip here is not super tight onto the airbrush. It will let a little bit of air leak out. It's designed to do that. It doesn't mess it up. So you'll have a little bit of bubbling right here. That's not water from inside your airbrush or paint. It's actually water from outside of your airbrush. Like when you've cleaned it, they get some water up in the tip around here, and they get water up in the tip, you know, and that's what happens. So don't worry if that happens, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That I'm gonna do this little one, this cute little thing. I don't know who sculpted these things, but it's a fun little model. Simple yet elegant.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Also, I really like the fact that you actually can see the
tentacles.
Not the tentacles. There's no tentacles.
Alright. What a perfect time to run out of paint. So this is a quick way to clean your airbrush. Use these squirt bottles. This is for like tattoos, which you can see all my beautiful tattoos I have, which
they're invisible.
They're invisible tattoos. So spray it in, let your paint run out till it's clear. And the trap is green. The trap is clean. Is that what it is? I don't know.
What? Where did you hear that?
Ghostbusters.
Oh. I don't know.
So I'm watching my spray. See how that is? Nice forceful jet of spray. So I'm pretty much
that paper towel
pretty clean. This is another really cool product from Badger. This is called Spray Through. It's a brush cleaner. It's not really meant, I mean, you can clean your airbrush with it, but it's meant for doing your last spray through before you put the next color in. And it keeps the inside of your nozzle from getting too much paint in it. The buildup is slower. Whatever this wine is, it's really good.
It's from Aldi.
Aldi.
Elizabeth bought it for us.
That's right. Elizabeth Beckley.
Thank you for the wine that you left.
If you don't know who Elizabeth is, you should. It's a fantastic peanut. All right. So what's the next color we're going to use on this thing here?
Green.
Yes. We're going to make a green stones. So we don't want gray liner. What do I got here? What colors do I have? So when you're airbrushing, you always want to jump in color quite a bit. So we started with this Dark Elf Shadow, which was really dark. I mean, basically it still looks black. I'm going to jump, I think, to Mountain Stone. So these two colors are... There's a definite difference between the two. And I need my rocks to look more stony. Stony.
Stony McStony.
Stony McStony.
Also, people corrected you. It's when the light is green, the trap is clean.
That's right. When the trap is
Blue.
clean, the trap is blue. We ain't got no trap.
We love messing quotes up.
Yeah.
It's a hobby.
Just wait till I start doing impersonations and stuff.
No, please don't. Oh, dear Lord.
Hey, righto. Crikey. Alright. Wow, this is coming out really slow. I guess that's what happens when your paint are out in the garage.
Where's our pokey tool?
Baby, I'm gonna need like a pokey pencil for this.
Oh,
So here's the
Elizabeth.
problem. These were out in the garage, and I think
Oh no.
they're not frozen, but they're definitely cold.
Maybe we need to bring the rest of those in then, because they might
No
freeze.
way. That's
Because remember, it's gonna snow.
it is gonna snow.
It's not gonna snow. We live in Georgia.
All right. Well, when I'm playing in the snow, I'm gonna leave you in the house.
If you're playing in the snow, I might need to take you to a doctor.
I make my own snow. See, Ron, this is actually the graveyard that the dragon will go into. So we gotta get the graveyard together first. So I don't know why, but over the years I found that transferring my paint with my paintbrush works way better. I get less clogs than if I just pour it in. I don't know why that is, but it is. So if anyone can explain to me why that is, Bryce, explain it. Explain yourself. All right, so we'll start on this one. So on the first color, I was changing between angles. I was going from below, I was going from above. Now I'll start concentrating mostly from above.
Hey, Rhonda.
Rhonda Bender, how I love you. Wait.
I mean, we do love her.
Rhonda was just on the Michael Proctor show. And she's lucky.
We have Hugh Hefner
Really?
in here.
That is incredible.
H-U-E.
Hugh, ain't you dead?
Hugh Hefner.
Oh.
H-U-E.
Oh, the other
like
Hugh
Hughes.
Hefner.
It's a pun,
What-
babe.
What kind of Hugh?
It's
do you
a
like?
pun.
Oh. Sweet.
Was that you getting it?
Was that
Understanding?
Hugh?
Was that Hugh getting it? Okay.
So here's the funny thing. I think I didn't put enough thinner in this paint. So it's coming out a little bit speckly. But the airbrush is still pushing the paint out. So that's good. I'm gonna thin this a little bit more right here.
So I'm trying to find the quick connect. Oh, there it is. Never mind. For those who are looking for the quick connect that will connect to the Vex, I am posting the link to that in chat now.
Correct. For those about to rock, we salute you. Something like that.
What?
All right, so the funny thing is, Liz and I were thinking of giving away something. What were we giving away?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. Was it like a used tissue or something?
Yes, my used tissues from last night, which
Your
got
nose
a
was
lot
so
of stuff on
runny.
it. No, we I'm doing a non-metallic metal class next month, and we were thinking of giving away one free class to somebody. Now,
I mean, is that something that y'all might be interested in?
probably not, because
Maybe.
nobody wants to learn that, and it's worth about $150. So I don't think anybody would be interested. But the fact of the matter is, we were thinking of how to do it, right? So we could do like a random giveaway, just somebody in the chat. I think you gotta like write something or something free or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how this works. But or would you guys be more into like nominating somebody that you think deserves to get the non-metallic metal class? So why don't you guys mull that over, and whatever you guys decide, we'll do.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Or if you don't decide anything, we just won't do anything. That would be even the better thing. Like that would be super cool. All right.
It's a hand. Box said, is it an airbrush class or a hand brush?
It's hand
It's
brush.
a hand. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard over that. It's a hand brush class.
I'm on the wrong camera.
What were you on?
I was
your
just on
face?
me. Yeah. I was like, I looked up, I'm like, damn, I look good.
No! Don't say that.
Damn, I don't look good.
No, don't say
Oh,
that.
don't say damn? Okay.
So the class will be online. So we do it through Zoom. So even if like you don't, like it doesn't matter where you live, you can participate as long as you have the internets.
Right. Which
And
if you're
it's
on
not-
this show, you probably have the internet.
Yeah. And it's not an airbrushing class. It is a non-metallic metal, and you'll be using just regular
Just
paintbrushes.
paintbrushes. Yeah. So we'll be learning how to place light placement, pick color, stuff like that, different shapes, gold, silver, that type of thing. So I think it'll be a really good class. We just did our airbrushing class, and that was fantastic. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
John David speaks. We have several spots left.
Yeah.
We can take a lot of people in the class because it's the way that we have it designed.
Power of the internet.
Yeah, the way that we have it set up. I manage all of the questions that come through and ask them periodically throughout the class while Aaron's teaching. So it kind of cuts down on like long class things. I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah.
We have it streamlined.
Yeah, it's very streamlined.
And then we also incorporate our Discord server in with it too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so everyone's basically saying.
I pushed the wrong button again. I literally have stuff stacked up on my keyboard, and it's like
Oh
changing.
yeah, you said that you were pooping. What the heck?
Yeah.
Aaron,
If we ever need to take a break,
it's ready.
we'll be pooping. All right, sweet.
Oh my god.
That's supposed to be a surprise. Thank God for a big old cathedral sitting on top of my desk.
True story.
There we go.
Oh, Rhonda does have a review of the first class that you taught.
That's right. It was a scathing review, full of explicitives.
No,
Which was surprising because Rhonda is so sweet.
these are ridiculous.
I'm just kidding.
Trying to find. I got it, Rhonda. So that's the link to Rhonda's review on dispersed classes if you just want to see how they're set up and everything. Yeah. Also, go follow Rhonda because she's awesome.
Yeah, Rhonda is awesome. And I really like that review because, I mean, Rhonda's our friend and everything, so she obviously could have just been like, it was the best thing ever, and, whatever. But she mixed in, like, things that she thought that we could have done better, like, I think it really reflected her true feelings of it, and I actually appreciate that a lot because we take all of those reviews, like, very seriously.
Yeah.
And
Literally, class
change
by
on the
class,
fly, yeah.
We're changing up how we were doing things to make things better,
For the students. Yeah.
Each class period or each class time, and we do them. They're done every Saturday for 1 month, so it's 4 weeks worth of
Classes.
class or whatever.
You have homework in between classes and Discord reviews every day. So it's an immersive thing. And like Liz said, if you miss a class, it's okay because everything gets posted. You get a link to see that video again. And it's pretty cool. So you can actually, if you got family stuff or something to do, or you just can't make it that time of the day, you watch it a little bit later.
Yes. Okay, so now I have to remember how to create this giveaway thing. So.
Do they just want to give away?
Yeah, they just want the giveaway.
Nobody wants to nominate anybody. They're like,
Everybody's
I don't know anyone who deserves it more than I do.
Yeah. They're like, no thanks.
Yeah, it's Christmas time. It's
Well, yeah. And you know what? Maybe we can do both. Maybe we'll do this here, and then we'll do a second giveaway on our social medias.
Yeah, so pay attention to our social media. We'll do the nominate someone on our social media. So that'll be like, 'tis the season to nominate somebody.
Make 2020 a little better. Or attempt to. Okay. Alright, so you are just going to have to keep talking because I got to figure out this giveaway.
This is going to figure out the giveaway.
Yeah. I have notes.
You could always message Justin on Discord and
That's true.
be like, dude.
How?
Although I think, yeah, you guys would have to type because we'd hear everything you said. But not that that'd be a bad thing. Like, don't let Bryce win.
No. Okay.
So what was everyone's favorite ReaperCon moment over the years? I know I've been going for quite a few years. Since we didn't have ReaperCon, we didn't have any moments this year, really. I mean, we had online ReaperCon, but not real ReaperCon. So please don't bring up any of the shenanigans I've been involved in because, you know, I don't want to get in trouble again. But
Oh my gosh.
there were years I had to beg to come to ReaperCon. I'm like, please let me come back. I swear to God, I won't open my mouth. I'll be good.
Oh, Bryce said he's gonna cry.
Why? Because you didn't.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention
Oh.
to you, so I don't know what you said that made him want to cry.
To be honest, I wasn't paying attention to myself either. Shoot, I did it again. I'm sorry. I keep knocking. We went black screen there for a second.
Holy cow!
Oh my gosh.
What are you hitting?
I am not good at this game.
What are you hitting?
I don't know. Literally I have stuff strewn all over my desk. I'm stacking paint on my keyboard, which is probably a mistake.
Oh, that's probably what's happening.
That is what's happening,
You goose.
but it's doing it randomly, kind of.
Oh, that Bryce can't win.
Oh.
That was why he was crying. Oh, Cranky Dog said I had to teach one of my classes at my first ReaperCon in 2016. I dozed off due to lack of caffeine.
I had so you know what's funny? I had there was a class at LVO one year, and it was really like for some reason someone decided let's pack in as many classes as possible. So it started at like 7 a.m, and so I show up, I was fine, but my students show up. Like of course half of them don't show up because it was the first night at LVO. Of course everyone's like hammered the next morning. And so one of my buddies shows up and he sits down in the front row and I start teaching the class and this guy goes to sleep. And he looked so comfortable. It started making me really tired. I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to fall asleep in my own class. And it was just like, oh my gosh. So that will happen like and in fact, bringing back some memories, Bryce, do you remember Jeremy Bonemont's class in San Diego? It was the week before Games Day, and Bryce was working on his Golden Demon entries at night after the class, and he literally slept through one of the classes like during the day. It was pretty funny. Like I turned around to talk to him, and he was just like, so good. I love it. Such good times at cons, you know? Bryce probably doesn't remember that because he was in fact asleep, but...
Okay, I think I have the giveaway
On
ready for y'all
lockdown?
to start.
You got it on fleek?
What? No, sweetie.
No? You
Oh,
can't.
bless it.
Trying
I
to-
mean, you
trying to
can
be
say
gangster.
that, but
It's not as cool as it used to be?
no.
Can you say kicking
I
it
don't know
old
if
school?
they're actually
Or in my case, you're just kicking it old?
That was good.
Dude, I remember a day, even at ReaperCon, where I was like the young guy, you know? Like, I came to ReaperCon, I'm like, I'm the youngest person here. And now I go to ReaperCon, I'm like, holy cow, I'm like 900 years old. Like, what happened?
Okay. So, to enter the giveaway, you need to type #Cult of40
Hashtag Cult of 40.
into chat.
Bonus points if you know what Cult of 40 means, but... Although that's like half the people in here, right? Because they all went to...
Basically. For those who don't know, Aaron sprays at about 40 psi, and people think that he's crazy for it, but it really does work, and so we get all of our students to try and spray at 40 psi instead of like the usual 12 or 15.
Yeah. It definitely gives you better atomization of your paint. Surprisingly, you clog less. So there's lots of benefits to spraying at a higher psi.
Is that like the Mile High Club? No!
It is exactly like the Half Mile Club, probably more.
Sweets said cult of everyone who's the age of 40.
Yeah.
That would be.
Liz, do you remember that class in Northern California where we had that guy who has never airbrushed before in his life, and we loaned him an airbrush and compressor, and I forgot that it was set at 40 psi.
Oh.
So he yes. So he started his airbrushing career at 40 psi, and I got to tell you, after like the first day, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a hot mess. By day 2, he'd like got it under control, and he was a really good airbrusher. Like, it was within 1 day. I couldn't believe it. And then I was like, you know what? Brand new people can spray at 40 psi. They just don't know the difference. So it all works out. So I'm starting to get some really good looks here.
Okay, so 3 questions.
3 questions.
Okay, first. Do different airbrush models need different pressures?
Pass.
You can't pass these
Oh. Sorry, what was the question?
I can't believe you said that. Oh my god.
Next question.
Do different airbrush models need different pressures?
You know what? Actually, I think so, because I used to spray. So I used to use the Master G22, which is probably the least expensive airbrush you can get, and it worked okay. I mean, it was like a Pinto. It was literally falling apart in your hands, but it sprayed paint. And I found that lower pressures with that particular airbrush, I think, sprayed better, and higher pressures with other airbrushes sprayed better. So there could be a difference. I recommend just playing around with it. You know, turn your air pressure way up, turn your air pressure way down. I know that for me, switching to 40 psi was a process. It happened over like a 6-month period, and I would turn it up to spray primers because they're really thick and they clog your airbrush really easily. And I'd heard somewhere if you put higher pressure, it would spray them better, and it did. But I'd always turn it back down for the regular acrylics and stuff. Well, then one day I forgot to turn it down, and I was just spraying at 40 psi, and I noticed that my dots and everything were a lot smaller, because basically your airbrush turns your paint into tiny dot particles. So the higher your pressure, the smaller those particles are, and that gives you a much smoother blend on your paint job. So.
All right. Question number 2. Oh, I forgot it already. Do you thin your paints at 40 psi?
Yes. Yeah. You always have to thin your paints, unless it's airbrush ready, and even then you might put a drop of thinner in because they're always a little bit thick. I try to thin my paints. There's no specific ratio because every paint is different, right? So, but I try not to go over like 40% thinner to paint. I try to stay, if I can get closer to 20% thinner, even better. Because what's happening is, if you take this paint right out of the pot, so I've thinned this a little bit, but if we take the original color, I think it was this one. No, it was this one. I don't know what's going on. So if I take the original color, when it comes straight out of this pot, it's at 100% of its capabilities. That's the most pigment that's going to be in it. It's the best coverage it's going to have, all that stuff. However, it won't go through your airbrush. So I thin it just enough to go through the airbrush. If you over thin it, then it takes a long time to build up that color. And I'm a firm believer in the more times I touch this model, it's another opportunity for me to mess it up. So if I can spray it 3 or 4 times and it's done, great. If I spray it 20 times, there's a good chance that I'm going to mess something up.
All right. And then like when you're starting, I'm not 100% sure on this question.
Okay.
I'm assuming they said what pressure do you start at?
So your air compressor, usually they come right at 20 psi. I know Bryce, his compressor doesn't have a gauge on it, and it just started at 50 psi. So,
yeah.
So sometimes there's some different stuff. Most air compressors that are made for airbrushing, they come to you at about 20 psi. In fact, I didn't change my air pressure for probably the first 10 years that I was airbrushing, mainly because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was afraid that if I changed it, I wouldn't be able to get back to what I was doing before. So I just didn't change it. But now I can change it all I want. Like if I do need for some reason to dial my pressure back because I just want a little bit of air pressure, I can slow it down. But I don't usually do that. I control my paint by how far I pull back my trigger. That's it.
So okay, so we kind of have like a combination question.
Okay.
So,
hit me.
Do you really want me to hit you?
No.
I didn't think so. So somebody asked how, like, as a new person
Right.
to airbrushing, how do you? I can't talk. Holy cow!
They want to know how to talk to me.
How do you gain control of spraying?
You're supposed to be the organized person here.
My mouth is just. I'm not used. I don't
Here,
talk this
let me
much.
drink some more wine and see if that helps you.
Okay, try. I also had a little bit of whiskey, but we talk about that.
Oh my gosh. I sucked down my windpipe.
Well, this will be fun to answer. Okay, so as a new person to airbrushing, how do you better gain control of airbrushing at like 40 psi? And then they said, do you use, like, will a high roller trigger work or help? Will setting the chuck help? And then we had somebody who was asking what both of those things are.
Okay, so the chuck is this thing back here, but there's also on the Vex has this cool little. Watch me dump all this paint on my model here. Okay, so the Vex has this thing right here, and this is like a guide, and I don't know if you can. It's hard. Oh wait, I can show it up here. So if you watch, when I turn this in, you see that little piece is starting to go in there. See that? So that only allows you to pull back so far on your trigger. And that like I can only pull that far back, so the needle only goes back a little bit, and that will only let that amount of paint out. So you can use that to kind of help you with the amount of paint that's coming out. The problem with this is I can no longer do a hard spray, and a hard spray is this. If I push all down on my air and pull all back on my paint, it blasts paint out. And I do that once or twice, and that usually clears whatever clog is happening to my airbrush. Now, if I have this thing rolled all the way up, so I'm just pulling back a little bit, like that will just put a little bit of paint down. See that? But if I try to do a hard spray, not very much comes out, and it won't clean my airbrush. So the way I practice getting that control, and if you take my class, we do a lot of this. You just spray dots. So if I just spray little bitty dots like this, and I see how small of a dot I can make and how little paint I can have come out of my airbrush.
So you're barely moving your finger
barely
down
moving it
and
backwards.
Barely moving it backwards.
So you want just barely paint to come out. Now, if you want to see what it looks like at full, that's what the paint looks like at full. So that's 100%. This is way back in close to 10%. So if you want to get really good control of your airbrush, practice pulling back and getting the least amount of paint out of your airbrush at all. Now, things that will stop this, that will screw you up, is once your needle starts getting covered with paint, and I don't mean like full on dry tip where there's like a big old dirt clod hanging off your airbrush. I mean just a thin skin of paint on the tip of your airbrush. And we call that tip skin, I think. No?
No.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm trying to make up like catchphrases that everyone can
No, we don't
say
do that.
on a daily basis. Like,
Nope. Okay.
you wouldn't be
let's
like, my
just-
tip skin is
No.
acting up
You
again.
can't say it. No, that's weird. It's weird.
Okay, so anyways, so if your airbrush starts getting a thin skin of paint built up on the needle, which happens almost immediately, you're not going to be able to do those really fine sprays, and you're going to have to start pulling back further. Well, at a certain point, you pull back and it's too far, and it lets the floodgates out, and you do that. So you don't have control anymore. So I'm constantly checking my dry tip, especially if I want to do precision sprays. I'm constantly checking my dry tip, making sure there's no paint on there, because then I can come back in and do that little spray. So here, oh, this is a good one too. So I'm pushing down on my air, and it's spraying paint out. So what that means is there's a clog inside my nozzle that's only on half the side. It's not all the way around. So it's holding the needle back just a little bit, and it's letting paint out the other side. So to clear this, 9 times out of 10 is a hard spray. So I'll do a couple hard sprays. There's still a little paint coming out, so I'm just going to take my needle and move it in and out a little bit. See if I can't dislodge whatever's in there. And there, it's perfect.
Did you show them the difference between the regular trigger and the high roller? Here. That's why I asked.
This is a high roller. So
I can't use the high
that's
roller.
a low roller.
Because I got tiny little child hands.
Yeah, so
That's
Liz, it doesn't work so well for her. Some people love it. I actually prefer both, which is weird.
Yeah.
I like the high roller. It works great for me, but I also like the lower one. There's a company that makes a trigger that's literally on top of the airbrush like this. And I saw the video of the guy using it, and he's using that same minimal trigger action, pulling back just a little bit. So you're not pulling back way back. You know, that's what most people do. They pull their trigger way back, and it's just spraying paint everywhere. You're pulling back just little bits. Now, if you've thinned your paint out a whole lot, you're going to have a problem because you're not putting enough paint down. It's going to take forever to build up. But if your paint's a little bit thicker and you do small sprays, it will build up color very quickly. So kind of like what we see here on this church or crypt, graveyard crypt. It's kind of building up those colors, getting the light. And since I'm spraying from an above angle, it's giving me all that detail. Like if you look at it from below, it looks really, really dark. And that's because my black is actually working for me to make some of the shadows and stuff. I need more paint.
I just looked over and you just looked so proud of
The
the like 2 colors that you put on.
I put so many colors on this. It's amazing. Today, for the next 3 months, we're going to be doing gray.
Just all the shades.
No,
of-
just these shades.
Oh.
2 shades of gray. We're going to apply them many, many different ways. Because I know that that's good TV. Actually, we had Twitch contact us earlier. They're like, hey, we want the rights to your gray video.
Okay. Is there a resource that lists what mix of water you want to add? Oh, shoot. Keeps moving. The mix of water that you want to add to various companies' paints for airbrushes.
I pretty much use isopropyl alcohol and distilled water mix. And Liz,
Yeah,
do you know the combination?
Yeah, I do. So
What
it's
is it?
10% isopropyl alcohol and 90% just distilled water. And when he adds it to the paint itself, he doesn't have like
It's not precise.
It's not like, oh, we'll add 10 drops of water for this paint brand. It's more of like looking at the consistency of the paint and seeing if that consistency is what he wants. So it needs to be thin enough to shoot through the airbrush, but he also doesn't want it to be like milk.
In the industry, we call it G2G. Good to go.
Oh.
Yeah. The paint is good to go. And by industry, I mean me sitting by myself in the room.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's cooking, not baking.
Yes.
It's not exact.
Because some colors like red or yellow, you only need like a couple drops of thinner because they're already really thin. And if you thin them, like I said, if you over thin them, it's very hard to build up color. But, you know, other colors like maybe black or this gray, you're going to need to thin a little bit more because they're just physically thicker. Although I don't really thin black very much either. It's more of this gray. But you got to thin a little bit more. Now, there are reasons I would put more thinner in the paint for like a glaze or something, but for this, no. I want my colors to build up really quick. All right. And we're done. That's the show.
No, it is not. It's only 8 or 9:20. Don't forget that
Did we
if you
start
want
at
to
9 o'clock?
enter the giveaway for a spot in Aaron's non-metallic metal class in January, put hashtag cult of 40, the numbers not written out, in chat, and you'll be entered. We're gonna draw in about 30-ish minutes. That was super precise.
Yes.
Just
And
like
we like to be really precise here at
yeah.
the House of Vex. The oos. Oot na boot of the Vex. That was for all of our Canadian friends out there. We love you.
Oh my bedroom slippers apparently are coming apart, so.
From Canada?
Mm-hmm. No.
Wow.
No. Did not get my bedroom slippers from Canada.
Oh. Sweet. Alright.
So what you using now?
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I don't know. I need brown. We just don't have no brown.
We have a lot of brown.
We ain't got no brown
We have
nowhere.
like 900 bottles of paint.
I know. Just somehow.
And actually, there's. Let me go get the brown bag. The brown bag.
We like to theme our shows.
We literally have a bag, a Ziploc bag labeled Reaper Extra Browns.
There we go. Ooh, perfect.
Reaper Extra Browns.
Yeah, that's what we do. Because, you know, you can never have too many browns. Ooh,
It's true.
mahogany. Harvest brown. Favorite color ever. Saddle brown. Desert stone. All right. Rock and roll taco.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what you doing there?
I'm mixing colors.
Are you gonna dry brush?
No.
Oh.
Are you?
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not painting.
I could eventually. I probably will eventually.
I'm not painting. Currently.
I don't know. Where am I? Oh, my blister pack foam.
Oh.
Sweet.
Oh. Are we
Oh.
weathering?
We're stoning. Not stonering, but just stoning. Breaking the law.
You are off camera. Sweet potato.
I've got so many things going on.
I don't know why you have like 8 cups of water.
It's provocative.
You have a coffee cup, a wine cup, a paint cup.
I had
A spray out cup.
three drinks at lunch today, so I don't know why you're thinking this is weird.
Oh, yeah, you
I had
did.
a glass of water.
You
I had a glass of bubbly or whatever it's called, and I had that coffee drink.
Yep.
And then I drank a coffee immediately afterwards. If I'm wondering why I have to pee so bad.
Did you?
I did leak a little bit
Oh my gosh.
earlier when we were laughing. So now I'm just kind of putting in some textures to the stone. Like I got my kind of base colors on, and now I want to do a whole bunch of different textures via the sponge.
You're doing such a great job.
So good. This is probably some of the best sponge work ever recorded in history.
And yes, he is using a blister foam.
And I have to
square.
admit, I don't think this is a Reaper blister foam square. I don't think that matters, but
this one I think was though.
I'm just kidding. I don't think anyone would be upset that I used foam from a different company.
Ron's gonna come after you.
Yes. I'm gonna on Monday we'll have this huge UPS truck just filled with blister foam.
I heard you needed some.
I heard you needed some
us.
foam, Lovejoy. First you don't paint my dragon. Then there's the foam issue.
Rhonda said she's calling him right now.
Yeah, I bet she is.
Mm-hmm.
How come Rhonda has his number and I don't? Probably don't answer that. There's probably a lot of good reasons why that is.
Well, to be fair, sweetie, you forget to put people's names in your phone, so they're just numbers, and then you have to read back through the chat to get context on who those people are, including your own daughter.
Right, that is very true. That is true. What's her name again? Just kidding.
Stephanie.
Mildred. No, that was my grandmother. This is the best part of the show right here. Watch earn sponge on colors.
This is when everybody's just like, all right, I'm out.
Can't you airbrush that sponging on there? Or like, what's going on?
Bryce said the Ron has you blocked.
Yeah.
And Rhonda said, obviously a blatant lie because I'm an introvert. I don't call people. I could text him though.
Right. Yeah, what is calling? I haven't used my telephone in so long. Liz knows.
Oh, I do know. He periodically throws it in the trash and then waits until the alarm goes off to tell him that he has a private coaching or something.
One of my favorite pastimes is throwing my phone away. And in fact, one day...
You do it just because you...
I really
like
oh my
the way
gosh.
that I react because it makes me
It
so
is
mad.
really gratifying. But it feels good. Like sometimes you're just like, I want this phone to be gone. Tells me what I have to do. It's always telling me what to do.
It's basically just telling you have to work.
Like I'll be in the middle of a video.
Or switch work.
Yeah. I'll be in the middle of a video. It's a very important, intense learning experience. And then, hey, you have this thing. Oh, great. That's awesome.
Nate said, I just came back from a break. What's this sponge airbrush called?
Yeah. This is called the sponge brush. It's the
sponger.
The Sprex.
The Sprex. Yes. Again,
Reaper's selling these sponges, basically $29.95 for a small blister pack with one sponge in it. It's the Aaron Lovejoy You're a Sucker sponge pack.
Yeah.
The Aaron Lovejoy, you could have gotten this so many other ways.
Is this a Winsor & Newton Series 7 foam?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
This is like really good foam.
Archive with a giant dragon mini is free.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we would love to buy some Denton sand too.
Yeah. Oh, Denton sand sounds delicious.
We love Denton.
I saw someone posted they got coal from Reaper the other day, which was, I thought, really cool.
I know, I'm kind of sad we didn't get coal. We probably didn't spend enough money.
We didn't spend enough money.
We
weren't bad enough, quote unquote. Do this other side. What's going on here?
What?
Jezebel.
What?
What?
What are you doing? Are you putting blood on the roof?
No. Puts blood on the roof.
You?
I could.
I love that you can't really even see that color.
I know. Well, the thing is, I'm building it up.
Slowly.
It's called art, sweetie.
Oh my gosh.
You wouldn't understand.
Says the person who literally always says that you're not an artist.
I am not an artist.
That's a lie.
How dare you?
That's such a lie.
Never, ever be called an artist.
Nate said, I like working with this size 6 foam. It holds so much paint in the belly.
Yeah.
Pantha said he's a fartist.
That I can get behind.
It's so true. Oh my gosh. All day, every day, all
24/7.
I guess it is all day.
All day, every day.
All day, every day, all the time.
That's
which
right.
literally means all day.
That's right.
I'm losing my brain.
You're losing your brain, sister. Sister Twister. Boom-da-dum-dum-dum-dum. Oh. Oh.
Look at you doing the weathering stuff.
Listen, I'm doing the work of the Lord. Spreading the good news about wet pallets.
Oh my gosh, no. We are not doing that. Holy moly.
And then they went down the slippery slope.
Oh my word. Bantha said that your show should have been called Artsy Fartsy.
And then
I mean,
after time it would just be fartsy.
Yeah.
So I've been watching.
Bryce said my favorite ReaperCon was when Aaron had 15 people painting in his bathroom.
I remember that. We gotta get this stuff done.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. If you didn't know, the hotel bathrooms is probably the best light in the entire hotel.
It's true.
In fact, that's where they should do the painting contest, is in the hotel bathroom, which would be really awkward for everyone. But if you had to go, I mean, I guess it's right there.
It is true, though.
It's super true. Super troopers.
Are you going to tell the story of the 15 people in your bathroom?
I mean, which
Reaper,
ReaperCon was that? Because
it happens pretty much every year.
Yeah.
At least not since we've been together. It hasn't.
Right. It's toned down a little bit because
It's usually just you and John in the bathroom.
Yeah.
No. Not ReaperCon. It's usually you and Bryce. I was thinking of Adepticon. So you and Bryce are the ones in the bathroom.
Right. Furiously trying to finish a contest entry or something that we procrastinated on for 6 months. And like, oh, now we gotta...
Bryce said all of them.
Yeah.
All of the ReaperCons.
But, that being said, best lighting in the hotel. Like, you almost don't need your regular light. If you didn't have it, you're good.
Correct, Zox. Aaron does run his compressor at 40 psi all the time.
All the time.
At the worst times as well. Like in the middle of the grocery store when we're trying to buy salads and he bombs the lady that's like standing right next to us and then runs away.
I feel like she was asking for it.
She was just buying a salad.
What's that? You're trying to be healthy? Taylor walks over and immediately leaves. She's like, "Oh my God."
Yeah. Well, and I looked up at you and we're wearing masks, so I can't like see his full face, but I can tell because you're smiling with your eyes.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh no. Oh no, he didn't." And then I smelled it through my mask.
And it stayed. She couldn't get it out. She started gagging.
And dry
yeah,
heaving.
in the grocery store, she's walking down the aisle gagging in her mask. People are like looking at her like, "Oh my God, this chick's got the vid."
Stop. No. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that you just dropped it and ran."
I didn't run. I stayed there.
For a couple of seconds.
For a couple of seconds.
Like, all right,
and
I'm
like,
out.
"Hey, we got to get out of here." Because I'm not going to lie. It smelled pretty bad. Like, that was like legit. Like, we need to move. You know?
A click and drag. Yes.
It's more like a squirt and drag, but, you know.
Ew. Like a skunk. You're just a little skunk.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We need some of this brown. We always need brown. We need to change some tones in here.
You need to build up faster.
I know.
You're just
I'm losing it.
working so slow today.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I almost painted it into
I love that your hands started immediately shaking. Like, oh no. Oh, there we go.
Oh, finger painting
Yeah.
for the win. Put it on, take it off. Put it on, take it off. Like a really cool song from back in the day.
Is that a song?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were making that up.
I don't know.
Are you in the zone?
I'm in the zone. I'm in the Zox zone, as they call it.
The Zox zone?
Yeah.
Zox, apparently he's in your zone.
I'm in the zone. All right.
I don't want to know. Evil Twin Mason, the giveaway is for Aaron's non-metallic metal classes that are in January. There will be 4 classes, Airbrush 101 through 104.
Non-metallic metal 101.
Sorry, not Airbrush. I think it's because you're using an airbrush and it was so
Yeah.
loud, I can't think.
I keep saying airbrush. Like,
Oh my gosh. Non-metallic metal 101 through 104. And we're giving away a free spot for that class. And all of the classes will be recorded. And you'll have access to that class, or to each of those classes, for up to 1 month after the final class. If that made any sense. It made sense in my head. Jeff wants to know how long you've been a crop duster.
all my life, baby. I learned from my dad.
Oh my gosh. That's also true.
He is the king.
Squeaks, no, it is not an airbrushing class. It is all
Brushwork.
brushwork. No airbrushings will happen.
Right.
as a paint additive.
We could. I don't know if it would do anything to the paint.
It would probably cause the paint to like.
If it was, it could be a paint stripper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strip the paint right off the model. Which, I mean, that would, you know, a lot of people like stripping their models, so that would probably work.
And if you don't win the giveaway today, wow, that was really loud.
That was awesome, wasn't it?
No.
Oh.
I think you're doing it on purpose.
No, it's like.
Oh, Aaron.
Whoa! This is how I'm gonna wake you up in the morning.
There's links in the chat for like to take a look at the non-metallic metal class in January. Is what I was trying to say. Put some blue tack on this.
Put some blue tack on your nose.
Yes, we will be offering Aaron's airbrushing classes again. But we're not
later in the year.
Yeah, it won't be in January though. It'll be later in 2021.
If you want, though, give your name to Liz, and she can put you on a list of people to contact when we get that rolling again. I like that. I like it a lot. All right. We need like a metallic color.
Francis, you should definitely wear a respirator when airbrushing. This is a do as Aaron says, not as he does kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really hard to talk to people with a mask on, so it is what it is. I risk my life for you guys.
That's how much he loves y'all.
Yeah. Do we got black over there?
Yeah, somewhere. Maybe. Wow, that wine smells
Delicious.
real peachy.
I got it.
Oh, okay. Well, good, because I couldn't find it.
Because you couldn't find it. I knew we had some in that bag. What?
What?
Hmm?
What?
Mine's anything.
We literally have bags of paint, like gallon-size Ziploc bags of paint, all around the office right now, until we can get
Things put away.
paint racks.
Yeah, because we ain't got no paint racks.
No,
We ain't got no paint racks.
we do not. We'll get them eventually. So what you doing?
I'm painting this thing.
Are you wet blending?
Yeah, I just made the silver darker at the bottom and the top. It's a technical term I like to call making silver darker at the bottom than the top. That's what it's called.
I see that.
Just paint black down there, paint silver at the top.
Technical, guys.
Yeah. I like using big terms so people don't understand what I'm talking about.
John David Speaks asked, how often will the show be on?
Right now, once a month, because I'd like to do it more, but our schedule is just kind of super crazy. So I told Reaper that we'd start at 1. If we can do more than that, or if there's a demand for it or something, we'll do our best. But right now, it's just like, this is the time we have.
Yep.
So super exciting.
Do you know the difference between a respirator and an N95 mask? Not mask.
No.
I don't either.
Was it a trick question or?
No, that was a question.
Oh.
They asked if there was a difference or if they were the same. I have no idea.
Like when I got mine, I just typed in airbrush respirator mask online, and like a 3M mask came up that was, and it was about $30, $40, something like that. Not too expensive. I mean, you do eventually want to replace the filters.
Yeah.
Because that's probably a good idea. Bam, bam. Is the N95 mask just the mask people are wearing like to the grocery store?
I think that is, yeah.
So I mean,
That was the
worst
one
case
that was
scenario, yeah, wear that. Like, I mean, put a rag over your face or something, you know. But you probably want to get like an actual
something
thing.
with like a filter in it.
Yeah, because some of the particles, I'm not sure about with acrylics, and that's why I just say do it anyways. But like, I'm not sure about with acrylics. I know like enamels and stuff, there's harmful particles that will go right through certain masks. So you want to make sure that you're not the guy who dies because of airbrushing, I guess. Not that I think you're going to die because of airbrushing, but some people are way more, the fumes affect them way more than others. So like for me, it doesn't affect me very much at all. Like I can kind of like, I mean, obviously I stink myself out constantly, but some people like immediately just the smell of the paint in the air is bad.
Someone asked if it's just them or you sound like a banana.
I am a banana. Thank you very much.
Yes, you are.
For the last time, Liz.
Oh,
I'm a banana.
There we go again.
So if I was doing this chapel not for my gaming table, I might approach it a little bit differently. Maybe like if it was going to be in Reaper's MSP Open or something, maybe I'd slow things down a little bit and spend a little bit more time on each thing. But it's not, so I don't. But I still think it can look pretty cool in the end. So that's the goal. At least. Liz doesn't think I can do it. She's
That's
so
not true.
disapproving.
So in about 2 minutes, Erin's gonna take a quick break, and then we
To go potty?
Yeah, so you can go potty.
That's a good idea, because I really do have to pee.
And then we will do the drawing for the giveaway for the non-metallic metal class in January.
That's right.
If you haven't entered, enter now. Use hashtag cult of 40 in the chat.
In the chat. All the time.
There's a bunch of smart people in chat who are explaining the differences.
That's why we bring our friends
Thank you,
in
guys.
on this.
We appreciate you.
Because I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I just do stuff.
That's
Is
true.
that dry brush up there?
Which one?
The
You
Morphe,
pointed at like
the
8
Morphe
brushes.
one.
This
The
one?
dry,
Yes.
no. The short.
Oh,
fat
yes.
one.
They're both Morphe brushes.
That's right. Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Sweet. Sweet treat.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be running some side bets. Who thinks they know who's going to win this thing? We'll start the betting at $25.
No.
What? No?
No. What are you? No, there's no side bets. Don't listen to Aaron. He had one.
I had some wine. I also ate a baby.
Stop. Look at that technique.
I actually really like dry brushing with these Morphe brushes.
Bryce said that he thinks he's gonna win.
I don't think so.
John David Speaks thinks he's gonna win.
Ooh, the odds are getting stacked.
I'll bet that this is really Liz painting and Aaron is just providing a voiceover like the Mystery Science Theater show.
Probably. If it comes out really, if it comes out.
Let's be honest. Them hands are. They ain't
those
mine.
are definitely Liz's hands.
They ain't mine. Actually, yes, that is a makeup brush. That is a Morphe.
Morphe. It's the 173. M173.
Yeah.
So good. .com.
This has big hands. Thanks, Bryce. And yes, he does steal my makeup brushes so that he can dry brush with them. But then I also use them, so it's fine. Liz is gonna win. No. If we get to 100 viewers, will Aaron do the rest of the stream in the banana suit? Yes.
Oh, God.
Get us to 100 viewers, and Aaron will wear a banana suit.
You gotta be kidding me. So, yeah, so that means we need like 98 more people. There's no way that's gonna happen.
No, we literally need 14 more people.
You gotta be kidding me.
Come on, guys. 14 more people.
Call your parent. Call your mom.
Call my mom?
Yeah.
My mom is asleep.
I'll wake
It's
her up.
past
Mom!
9 o'clock. She would hate me. I don't know. She's probably up watching murder shows. Honestly.
Andy's probably at home, like, morphing his IP address and, like, signing in 14 times.
Let me do this. Yep. More people, and we'll do the banana suit.
More people, more problems.
Francis, the show lasts for another 7 minutes. Okay, sweetie,
is
you
it
need
almost
to go
over?
pee.
Wait, what happened?
Are you gonna go pee?
Yeah.
Okay. That way we can do this
What time is it?
giveaway. It is 9:53.
When do we get off?
Wasn't it 8 to 10?
Yeah, something like that.
Am I crazy? Don't answer that.
How am I supposed to finish a chapel in 2 hours?
Well, you talked about airbrushing for an hour, so.
Well, then I blame everyone who's watching.
No, you better stop. All right, go pee.
You guys are ruining my life. No. All right,
Okay.
I'll be back.
Do
Do you want me to put the bathroom break?
your pooper up.
I put my pooper up.
Your pooper. Come on, guys. We literally need just a few more viewers. So Aaron will wear his nanner costume. Come on. We can do this. 8 more. How are you getting 8 more? It says 82. Can I not do math? Am I doing math wrong? Yeah, hopefully it won't take him the full 5 minutes to pee. Oh, y'all see 92. Oh, I don't know why. That's weird. Maybe I'm just oddly special in the not so great way. No, I don't think it counts as as separate viewers. Well, y'all will just have to tell me when we get to 100. Or, like, as it goes. Because mine's literally just stuck at 82. Oh, that makes sense. Zox. You can't cheat the system. I mean, you can, but you probably shouldn't. All right. Guess who's back from his potty break?
I told you, Liz, I'm not wearing the stupid banana suit again, okay? I'm a banana. This is poor life choices right here. 101. Might do a class on that one. Maybe at
Poor life choices
virtual
class.
ReaperCon, I'll do the Aaron Lovejoy's Poor Life Choices class, and you can all just come and listen to me talk to you about
being a banana.
Yeah.
I love it.
It kind of feels good, actually. I mean, I feel fresh.
It was going to be 100 viewers, and then Aaron would wear his banana suit, but I secretly made him put it on anyway. So.
Yeah. We had to, supply and demand.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, we couldn't let people just go without seeing Aaron in a banana suit.
That's right. It'll never
All
happen
right,
again.
so are y'all ready to do this drawing for the giveaway?
Drawing. At the tone, the time will be.
All right. Here we go.
Here we go. Would it be weird if I was eating a banana while wearing a banana outfit? Like, would that be wrong?
Is this right? Okay. We have...
Sorry, folks. There's no winner tonight.
No, that's...
What?
That's not true. Obi Tony Kenobi
Whoa, congratulations.
is our winner for the drawing.
Yay.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. So you get Aaron's non-metallic metal classes.
You get me as a banana. No, you get
his non-metallic metal classes for free.
That's right.
In January.
For free for me.
Just send me a private, or send me an email, actually, because...
Send Liz an email.
Yeah, send me an email. My email is going to be posted in the chat. It's lizhunt@miniaturemonthly.com.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Something like that. Now watch, there's going to be like 1 million of that person like sending you emails.
Oh, true.
Good time.
Also send me a message on Twitch then.
That might
Thanks
be
for
a good thing too.
saying that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not that everyone would do that, but I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a banana.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Sweet jelly jam. All right. So,
All right. Oh, I think
we
we're
have... What am I doing? Gotten pretty far in this, actually. It's nowhere near done, but I'm liking where we're going with it. Got some dirt down here. Got a little texture. Getting some of the metallics on. Yeah. Maybe by the next time we meet, I'll have this finished. And we'll be starting on that dragon, because the dragon's going to be sitting right on top of it. Or maybe near it. Maybe not anywhere near it, but, it's a dragon.
Sweet.
Stuff happens.
Okay.
Cool.
Are we supposed to message people, Justin or something?
Yeah. We're this is the part of the show where we just mess everything up.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, there's Justin right now.
In your ears.
Justin's in my ears. Yeah, I don't. I'm not wearing a banana costume, so yeah. So
He's
yeah.
just a banana.
Yeah. So we're there. It is fantastic.
Oh,
So cool.
sweet.
Sweet.
Night Heart Gaming?
Cool, cool. And join us next time when we start painting that dragon. So, should be pretty exciting.
He's in everyone's ears.
All right. You too. Ciao.